So yes guys, let's start looking at illustrations which are given in the standard. That will help you understand. Don't have too many. We have about 3 or 4 illustrations in the standard. Yes, there are additions to your study material. We will cover enough number of problems. Yep. I have my illustration 1 flashing on the screen. I hope you can see it. Look at it. An item of property, plant and equipment that is measured on cost basis should be measured in accordance with IND AS 16. The entity owns a property and it stated the following amounts in the last financial statements. The cost of the asset being 12 lakhs, its accumulated depreciation being 6 lakhs, so the net book value being 6 lakhs. The amount is depreciated annually at the rate of 10%. During July 2022, ABC decides to sell the asset. 1st August, it met all the conditions to be satisfied for held for sale. Analyze. Guys, these financial statements were drafted up to 31st of December. Correct? Now, when is he classifying it as held for sale? The conditions necessary for classification of held for sale were satisfied on 1st of August. That means during the year of 2012, I've used this asset for 7 months. So on the date of discontinuance, what is the carrying value of the asset? Now, if I have to calculate, let's calculate and check. Financial year ending on 31st of December 21. I find that balance sheet value is equal to 6 lakhs. Correct? That is the carrying value, net book value in the balance sheet. Depreciation per annum is already given it to me as 1,20,000, which is 10% on the original cost of 12 lakhs. It is classified as held for sale under IND AS 105. On 1st of August 2022. What is the depreciation up to the date? Depreciation up to 1st August 2022 is equal to 1,20,000 per annum. But for 7 months into 7 by 12, the depreciation would have been 70,000. Therefore, on that day, the carrying value of asset is equal to 6 lakhs. At the beginning of the year, 70,000 depreciation up to the date of classification under IND AS 105, 5,30,000. So 5,30,000 is the carrying value of the asset on the date of classification to IND AS 105. This carrying value on the date of classification should be compared with fair value minus cost of disposal whatever is the value. I don't have the value right now. Lower of these two values should be the value at which I'll have to measure the asset under IND AS 105. lower of above should be the value at which asset is measured as per IND AS 105. Lower of the above should be the value at which the asset should be measured as per IND AS 105. Now, I don't know the fair value, so I'm leaving it there. I am not going to continue my discussion on this illustration anymore. But since that date, the depreciation should lapse. I should not be charging depreciation after 1st August of 2022 once the asset is classified under IND AS 105. Look at your illustration 2 then. S Limited purchased a property for 6 lakhs on 1st April. The useful life of the property is 15 years. On 31st March 2023, S Limited classified the property as held for sale. Exactly after 2 years. The impairment testing provided that the recoverable value is 4,70,000. Recoverable value is nothing but fair value less cost to sell. Okay, he used the word recoverable value. We will see it under IND AS 36. Fair value less cost to sell on the same day was 4,60,000. Okay, impairment is given separately. Fair value less cost to sell he has given separately. Very good. On 31st March 2014, the management decided to change the plan as no longer met the criteria of held for sale, and the recoverable amount on 31st March 2024 is 5 lakhs. What is the value of the property at the end of 2023 and at the end of 2024? Guys, the useful life of the property is 15 years. What is the cost of the asset? 6 lakhs. 6 lakhs divided by 15 is how much? 40,000 is the depreciation every year. If 40,000 is the value of depreciation every year, by the time you come down to 31st March 2023, you would have depreciated the asset by 2 years. That means 80,000. Therefore, on that date of 31st March 2023, the value or the carrying value of the asset after depreciating it by 2 years would have been 5,20,000. On that date, it was classified as held for sale, on which date the fair value is 4,60,000. So the difference between 520 and 460, since the fair value is lower, I'll have to make sure that 60,000 is being charged to P&L. Clear? Subsequently, whenever I go with the plan of withdrawal from the plan of sale or disposal, I'll have to measure it at lower of the carrying value if it was not classified to IND AS 105 earlier, or recoverable value of the asset. On which day recoverable value is 5 lakhs. What would have been the carrying value had the classification of the asset been never done into IND AS 105? Let us try to solve this question. Illustration 2. Write down whatever we know. First part. Cost of asset on 1st April 2021 is 6 lakhs. Useful life of the asset, I'm assuming that the residual value is 0, is 15 years. Assuming residual value is equal to 0. Okay. Based on this assumption, what is your depreciation per annum? My depreciation per annum every year would have been 40,000. This is in rupee. Let us indicate it as rupee. Therefore, what would have been the carrying value on the date of classifying it as held for sale? Carrying value of asset on 31st March 2023 is 6 lakhs, cost of the asset, 40,000 into 2, depreciation, 80,000. Therefore, the value of the asset on the date of classifying it as held for sale is 5,20,000. On the day when the carrying value of the asset was 5,20,000, it has now been classified as held for sale. It has now been classified as held for sale. But however, there is an impairment loss also existing out there. Why? Because very clearly, I'll go back to the question, guys. Very clearly on that date, he said the recoverable amount as per IND AS 36 is 4,70,000. So since it is 4,70,000, I'll have to basically even look at what is the impairment loss on that date. Recoverable amount. The next standard that we'll be dealing is IND AS 36. We will get the significance of recoverable amount there. On 31st March 2023 was 4,70,000. Since the recoverable amount is less than the carrying value, it will result in an impairment loss of 50,000 recognized in the P&L. Impairment loss charged to P&L. On that day after impairment, what was the revised carrying value? The revised carrying value on 31st of March 2023, when I have classified the asset as held for sale, is equal to 4,70,000. How 4,70,000? It was 5,20,000 minus 50,000 rupees of impairment loss. Here, point number H. On that day, what is your fair value less cost to sell? My fair value minus cost to sell was 4,60,000. Since your fair value less cost to sell is less than the carrying value of the asset on that same date, I would have charged to P&L 10,000 rupees. Charge to P&L as per IND AS 1.5. Here, however, next year you withdrew from the plan. On withdrawal from plan of disposal, immediately on next year, 31st March 24. On that day, the asset should be measured at lower of asset should be measured at lower of part 1. What is the point number 1? Lower of carrying value of the asset on 31st March 2023, when you have classified it as held for sale. On that day, after charging the disposal impairment loss, it was 4,70,000 minus less depreciation for the year 13-14 or 23-24. How much is the depreciation? Your carrying value is 4,70,000 divided by useful life. Now, originally the useful life of the asset was 15 years. I have already depreciated the asset by 2 years. On today's day, I have a remaining useful life of only 13 years. So that means the depreciation would have been 36,150. 36,154 would have been the depreciation, because there is a change in carrying value, there is a change in depreciation as well. So the carrying value of the asset would have been 4,33,846. This carrying value of the asset should be compared with carrying value of the asset on the date of 31st March 2014. If they were not classified as IND AS 105 earlier, should be compared with its recoverable amount. What is the recoverable amount on that date? The recoverable amount on that date was 5 lakhs. Therefore, I should measure the asset only at 4,33,846. For asset on 31st of March should be measured at lower of above 433,846. What was the carrying value until then? Until then, as per your IND AS 105, I have recognized it at lower of fair value or carrying value, and my carrying value was 4,60,000. Now 4,60,000, I am writing it as 4,33,846. Therefore, charge to P&L on 31st of March 24 is equal to 4,60,000, which was the carrying value of the asset, minus, now the carrying value of the asset recognized is 433,846. The answer is P 26,150. Check, guys. Giving you time to solve. Yeah. Now you can check. Let's look at the answer given here. In your ICA study material, your answer should have been exactly the same. So first, it was 6 lakhs, 80,000 of depreciation for 2 years, 50,000 rupees of impairment loss. On that day, the carrying value is 4 lakh 70. On the date of 31st March 23, he should have compared the 4 lakh 70 with 4 lakh 60, which is fair value less cost to sell. Therefore, the asset should be recorded only at 460. 10,000 rupees should have been charged to P&L. Correct? Now, if I wouldn't have charged or if I wouldn't have classified this asset as held for sale, that 4 lakh 60 would have been depreciated over the remaining 4 lakh 70 would have been depreciated over the useful life of remaining useful life of 13 years, which would result in a depreciation of 36,154. So therefore, the carrying value, if it was not classified as held for sale earlier, would have been 433,846. Recoverable amount is 5 lakhs. On withdrawal from the plan of disposal, I would have measured the asset at lower of these two values, which is 433,846, compared with 4 lakh 60, which is the carrying value of the asset, which should have been charged to P&L, is 26,154. Exactly the same answer that we have got. Guys, you cannot impair subsequently when the recoverable amount is 5 lakhs, because impairment will only occur when the carrying value is recoverable amount is less than your carrying value. Okay. Reversal of impairment loss, I will discuss under IND AS 36. Don't bring up the concept here. Don't bring the concept here. Reversal of impairment loss. There are certain conditions which are necessary to be satisfied. We'll discuss about that under IND AS 36. Here the value recoverable amount was only given for you to assist in identifying what is the value at which you recognize the asset when you are withdrawn from the plan. Third illustration. Sun Limited is a retailer of a takeaway food like burgers and pizzas. They decided to sell off its outlets located in Chandni Chowk in New Delhi. The company will continue to run 200 other outlets in New Delhi. As per IND AS 105, criteria held for sale classification was first met on 1st October 2021. The outlet will be sold on June 2022. Management believes that it is a discontinued operation and wants to present the result of the discontinued operation or outlet as discontinued operation. Analyze. Guys, it cannot be discontinued operation because it is just one store. You are running 200 other outlets in New Delhi. You cannot say it is a separate geographical location. Now, it is not a separate geographical location because it is one place within a city where you are trying to discontinue. So, among all the other outlets, one outlet is being disposed. So, it is not a discontinued operation. It should only be considered as a disposal group. All the assets and liabilities combined in that particular store of Chandni Chowk in New Delhi should be considered as a part of disposal group. It cannot be considered as discontinued operation because it does not satisfy the definition of discontinuance or a component of enterprise. Chandni Chowk outlet is a disposal group, not a discontinued operation, as it is only one outlet. It is not a major line of business or geographical location, nor it is a subsidiary with a view of sale. For the questions available in the standard, and that will bring us to the end of illustrations as per IND AS 23. IND AS 105. So we have completed your module 1 questions. We will have to look at module 3, 4, and 6. So these two, we will take it up in the next session. Thanks a lot for joining us. Please make sure that you have any queries. You come back to us using all the Telegram channels or WhatsApp, whatever is convenient to you.